So, hi guys. So, I thought that I'm a designer, and there's this always a question which comes up that how do you present your case study, right? Like, what do you say? How, like, a real experience to how somebody is actually presenting their case study. So, I thought maybe I can do a video on it. So, this is my portfolio, and I thought of walking you through a case study which I did. Uh, so the last time I was actually finding a job, and I did a lot of interviews. So I guess this is the case study which I've presented everywhere. So currently I work at ESCO, but previous to this I was working at Founded, and there I did a project, and that is something which I'm showing right now. So basically what happens is that you work on a lot of projects, right? But you are the best judge which will appeal to an interviewer more, and which you feel that you've done good work in it, and it has a lot of emphasis, a lot of work put into it. Your designs actually made a a difference. So I feel that is one of the that is what you should go with, and present that, or start with making a case study of that. um yeah, so this is a case study which I did for my project. So I start with basically showing the what was the objective, uh what was the approach taken, what were the breakthroughs. So basically a brief about um what it is about, right? So that a person interviewer knows that what are you going to speak the next 10 or 15 minutes for. So this is the first slide. Then it comes to business objectives. So as designers, we all know that it's not just about screens, and it's not just about good design. At the end, we need to drive business. We need to affect the business in a good manner, uh, to get more leads, to get more a good outcome out of what we are trying to design. It's not just good UI, or it's not just uh, screens what you see in the picture. So UX is much more, and yeah, so basically it should be whatever you are working for should have a business objective to it. So you could list that down so that the interviewer is clear that okay, it's not just a design project, but it has a, a more bigger picture to it, in which the leadership and the stakeholders will be also interested, right? So here I've listed down what are the business objective for this project. So this was a flow which was already there, and I was revamping it. So basically, I'm showing right now the existing flow. If it's a new thing, you can skip this. But if it's a old thing which has already been there, and which you're trying to make better, so you could start off with showing the previous thing, or the thing which was there before you started on the project. So this was basically the registration for Founded. So two slides showing what was the registration like. Uh, then we go to research. So basically, what kind of research did you do during the project, and keep it short. I have also there are times that see, every interviewer, I feel, um, has a set of goals what they want from their hire, right? So you could simply ask them that, do you want me to go deeper in the research, or do you want a high level view, so that you don't spend time speaking in what they will not be interested in. So you could ask that, do you want me to, and it also drives a conversation in between of the interview, rather than you speaking for 15 minutes non-stop. So you could ask that, okay, do you want me to go through this slide or do you want me to skip it? And sometimes people don't have much time. So for example, you just have half an hour of interview. In that, you can't be spending like, 15 minutes just to show the case study, right? You should have at least 20 minutes in your hand to speak to the interviewer, to take questions, and for different things, rather than spending time on things which they'll not be interested in. So basically, you could ask that, okay, do you want me to get into the research, or do you want me to skip it? Do you want me to like spend like 2 or 3 minutes in it? So accordingly, basically go through the research, right? I did a quantitative as well as qualitative. So I did both research. So I walked through the same. The one thing what I want to say is that you need to be very uh, upfront about things. For example, it's a startup and you did not do research, and it was uh, because of bandwidth, because of company not being so design led, that they didn't want to spend time on research. So you could be upfront that, okay, they didn't want to do the research, they didn't give us that time bandwidth, or like just be upfront that, okay, I did not do it because of this reason. And yeah, you could just go further. Then I have a slide which says what were the findings. So it's not just research what you do, you actually map your research to the findings what you have done. So there's one slide saying that, okay, what were the research findings I got to. Then basically there was the user journey which was going on currently. So this was the current user journey which was going on. Then we had our current user flow. So this, if you see, it's very complicated, right? So you don't have to get into deep saying that, okay, what was there. They'll listen to you, but they'll not get the gist of it, because you have like spent like months over your project, but they haven't. So in a 10-minute conversation, you can't tell them the whole thing, but obviously you can show them, okay, it was complicated, it was this much, but let's not go into details. It had a lot of, like, you could just give an overview. For example, there were 18 fields in total. These were the fields, and this was the user flow which was going on. Then I did a bit of benchmarking as well with other, basically like secondary research, competitive analysis. So I've presented like a overview of it, right, with the things which we really wanted in the project we were revamping. Then there is brainstorming which we did, so presented that. Then what was the proposed user flow for uh, like what I came up with and what was different. Then the wireframes, the low fidelity wireframes. Then you could speak about your design. What did you do different? What was there before? You shouldn't just skip through the slides where people are just seeing black and white screens, right? So you should say that, okay, this is how we try to improve it and everything. This was our idea. Like for example, here we didn't want like more clicks. We wanted a very seamless walkthrough. So how did we try to achieve that? Then basically, so there are obviously how you design and how it gets developed. It's not always a seamless process. There's always hiccups in between. Like you will not achieve what you want to achieve, because come on, it's reality, and you don't. Whatever you target for, it's not important that you will actually achieve it. There are complications, there are requirements from the business which has to be taken, product, engineering, bandwidth, everything is there. So what is the reality, what happened in the project? So putting that forward just makes your case study more genuine, right? That, okay, this happened and how did I deal with it, how did we move forward, so that the interviewer has a picture that, okay, it's not always it is not always a good ride. It can be bad sometimes. It has to take turns, or it has to divert a bit. So what was my updated approach according to the constraint we had, and then the updated user flow, then the final screens which were made, walk through the new design as well. Yeah, and then basically the most important one I feel, which majorly people miss out, they just show at last the screens what you have made, and they just leave it off there. But it's not reality. You have to show the metrics. How did it impact? How did your design impact? How did the numbers change? So basically, what old flow was, what new flow was, how the system changed, how it was better than the before flow. Right, at the end, our design wants to make an impact. So how did you achieve that, right? Then basically summary of what you have just told for like 10 minutes, and plus what is the direction moving forward. Design never stops, right? You always have scope for improvement. So what are the feedbacks what you got from your first design, and how you're trying to incorporate it, and what will be your future goals for the same project. Then basically I had like a couple of screens which were more to show, so I did share that. So this is basically this is basically what I have in my case study. And a few more pointers I feel are like, don't rush, talk normally, don't like have a normal speed while talking, because sometimes I feel it's just, I also like when I present something, I just know that okay, what I'm saying I understand, so I'll tell it in my speed, and the person opposite to me will understand. But that's not always the case, right? Because what you speak of, for example, I am in a job tech market for like 3 years, so I will understand what I'm speaking. But a person who doesn't know about, like, who doesn't have the domain knowledge, they will not understand what you are trying to speak. They will understand, but if you give them time, and if you let them ask questions in between, and like just go with a pace which is better for both of you, and letting him grasp a bit by bit, so that just makes the process more smoother, and they understand. And one thing more is that when you are presenting a complicated thing which is not easy, for example, mine was a job thing which people know because they have applied sometime, or like they know about job platforms. It's something what people do on a daily basis, or like they are aware of it. For example, if you show like a grocery thing, people are aware of it. If you show like a food thing, people are aware of it. Like something like for taking vehicles, people are aware of it because they use it in a daily to daily basis. But if your company is in a niche and that is not something what people know, you have to dumb down a lot, and speak in a manner like you are making somebody understand who is like who doesn't know anything, and like just like a very plain simple language, like layman terms, fully, so that people understand what you're trying to say. And people try to grasp, and people actually understand, because so I, in my first year of like when I was in my second year of working, and I had the opportunity of like interviewing a couple of interns, and they used to present case studies, and I used to get lost during the case study, because sometimes I was not able to understand what they are speaking, and they used to talk very passionately to me, but I sometimes couldn't like pay attention, and like I tried to pay attention, but I was not getting to understand that okay, what exactly they are trying to do. So I feel it's very important to dumb down and like talk in a manner that they don't have zero context about it, and tell yourself while preparing for it that if I did not know anything what I've worked on, how should I explain myself? So if you do that, you will get to know how do you start. And a very important thing is that you practice it with yourself as well, because sometimes you think that you'll just go with it and you will do your best, but like once or twice if you try to practice with yourself, and it just becomes better, that your presentation becomes better. You know what to speak, you know how to put words to make the other person understand. uh, yeah, I guess this was something which I wanted to show. I hope it helps in some manner. It just helps your your process of hiring, and it just makes it better, uh, hopefully. And thank you so much for watching. Yeah, bye.